I'm Rob. I'll ask these guys a couple questions while you guys think of questions. And when you guys think of questions, then we'll just make it all you guys. We'll just jump to that. But we'll just start. Let's just start on the end. Sir, say your name and your film and what you're doing here.
Hi, I'm Chuck, and I'm an wrong. I'm Chuck Woodrow. I am the director of the Gen Con Film Festival. I do not have a film showing here because I have all the films showing here.
And I'm Molly Torres. I'm with Poison Arrow Films. We had one film screening yesterday as part of the short horror block. We had one film part of the supernatural block that was earlier today. Cinematographer and reluctant editor for our short film.
I'm Mike Schoenwald. I'm an independent filmmaker, and I've got Bon Iver Song and The Day the Music Died. It's played at the short fantasy block.
Okay, and Tracy's got here, which means we're gonna have to start all over again. So, welcome to the. Okay. No problem. We're up to just say your name and what your film you have.
Yeah, hi, I'm Teresa Lung. I'm a writer, director, producer. There's some familiar faces. It's wonderful to be here. I have a documentary called Game On, which is here at the festival, and it's about the story of women in games and games as art.
Nice. Okay, so let's just do a general question out of the gate. How are you promoting your film that is at the film festival? I don't know, maybe Chuck, if you want to give just kind of insight, what are some of the better films that have been promoted, your better strategies that you've seen here at the film festival?
So there's been some really good stuff. Obviously, Gen Con is its own animal as far as the film festival goes. It's not your normal cookie cutter film festival that you go to a theater on Wednesday night and you see a bunch of movies, right? This has this huge geek culture event that is tied to it. So we have 75,000 people, which, since this is a genre-based film festival that ties in a lot with the themes of a lot of the games and stuff that are going on across the street, this is your core audience, you know, as far as being a filmmaker goes. These people that are here, these 75,000 people, are exactly the demographic that you're shooting for. You're not going to get that at a normal film festival. As such, we have things like cosplay going on here, and we have all kinds of other interactions, and that is the key. Some of the best that I've seen, we had a guy that had this great short film about a medieval knight that was roaming the country and doing X, Y, and Z, rescuing princesses, whatever it was. And we've got our film promotion booth over in the convention center. He volunteered for time over there, wearing the full armor, handing out flyers for his film. You want to get attention, that's textbook, right? There's also a lot of people that have partnered with different game companies to kind of cross-promote. Maybe if it's a film about a game, if you connect up with those game companies in advance, you can cross-promote each other. So you can maybe be at their booth in the exhibit hall while they're doing their selling the game. You can be selling your film about their game, and it all ties together. So there's a lot of ways that you can do this sort of thing in an environment like this. But honestly, it doesn't work hardly anywhere else. So.
Yeah, and it's funny you mention that because I was just at the booth with Michael, and if you meet Michael and talk to Michael about promoting your film, that's a master class there. He said that. He's like, if you have a costume, show up in the costume because people want that interaction. So that was, yeah. So yeah, make sure I wish Michael was here because Michael could run the panel by himself. So,
that's why he's over there.
That's why he's over there. But yeah, if you just sit there for 10 minutes, you'll get the panel. Anyway, so Molly.
Yes, so our crew came in t-shirts because we figured nice designs will help get that. And since we had two films, we actually have a poster we commissioned for The Sanctity. We wore those yesterday because Sanctity screened yesterday. And then the shirts we're wearing now are DART, our logo, designed by Angie, who is also walking around somewhere. She does cosplay and stuff too. So Nice, something that's eye-catching, that gets people to ask about it, potential merch opportunities as well. We also brought magnets to pass out to people as well. Again, whether or not they're able to sit down and see the screening here, they have something tangible that they can remember and look up later. Since we do short films, distribution sometimes can be different, so promotion is different. No one's gonna buy a $20 Blu-ray for a 9-minute short. So we do have stuff on YouTube, we do have our website, so we do more with social media and trying to build an audience. So again, eye-catching visuals, a trailer, something that is easily spread or recognizable that you want people to think about after the fact. So promotion is a little bit different for us, because we're not specifically making too much money off of it. We're mostly just trying to find the audience, build that word of mouth, and get feedback, whether good or bad. If you hate our stuff, we can learn from that too. So it's all good, and it all helps.
Very similar, actually. Our goal was to get it shown. So our last one, which also got into Gen Con, we got into 17 film festivals with it. That's our distribution right there. That's what we wanted. We wanted an audience. Locally, we did very similar things. We have a t-shirt, we have a poster, so this is kind of locally. But online, we also have, like, we made sure we're on Internet Movie Database, and that's actually easier than you think to put it together. So that's always something to consider. And then from there, we have our website, very similar to you, and then a good presence. I find that, especially we use Film Freeway, so right there you want to make sure that's all polished. So things like your trailer is up to snuff. You've got your poster in there. You've got your director's statement. All of that should look really, really polished, because that's like the first thing a film festival is going to see.
absolutely.
They're not going to see you, right? You're submitting that directly electronically. So that's what they see first. So make sure that looks excellent.
Yeah, plus one to everything that was said before with Molly, Mike, and Chuck. But I think, so this is my first time at the con and at the festival, so I'm still learning. So I can tell you things that I did, and then I can tell you things that I wish I had done that I hope to do in the future. So in terms of promos, so like I have stickers, but then realized for a different promotion, I had already ordered a bunch extra, right? And I have postcards. But in the convention hall, you're technically, right, there are certain rules about using stickers. And so then I heard about the badges, right, and ribbons. So I have some ribbons, but I ordered them late, so I've been like customizing them because I do calligraphy. So in the future, I would order some badges, much like if you don't have one already, the lovely Gen Con Film Festival ribbon, right? And you may collect ribbons, but you could see other people, they collect ribbons. So I think that's a really lovely way to get your film out there, right? Both, and people will take them home. And so depending, some people have the QR code, and other people, the printing is, QR code doesn't work on certain ribbons. So like a technical matter is check with the manufacturer if that's even allowed, because it may not be legible, and if so, then you're wasting your opportunity there. So then do something that points to your website, right? That points to something that is visible afterwards. So My Screen films on Thursday, or very early in the festival, right? And so I think in addition to the website, the other thing that I had done prior is also to do a crowdfunding campaign. And so for me, the crowdfunding campaign was a couple of reasons, because this panel is about promotion, right? So I'm looking at building audience, right, as well as our other filmmakers on this panel. And so one of the ways is that I think with the successful crowdfunding campaign, luckily you're getting the funds, but also you're helping to build your audience, right? And so that is something that I've been very grateful to build, and it's a lot of effort. The one thing that I wish I did is in Game On, we talk about and have scenes about Dungeons and Dragons. Brenda worked on Dungeons and Dragons Heroes. She worked on the Wizardry series. So there's a cross between some of the video game genre and the board game genre. What I did not do was I didn't reach out to Wizards, right? I didn't quite understand that the film festival is adjacent to, right, this like 70,000 plus audience. How could I better have activated that? Yes, could I have dressed up as a castle or gotten someone to do that, right? Or one of the characters from the doc. Because we do have this very prestigious or well-known brand Dungeons and Dragons, was there something? So now that I'm here, though, there's an opportunity for me to hopefully informally go to their booth or to chat with some folks and to see about, they also go to other cons. While I've sort of missed, like I can lay the groundwork now because I'm here in person, and then there are other cons, maybe there's something else that they'll be going to. But if I had to do it again, I would try to do it earlier and try to forge those relationships, and then to have it set up here. Yeah.
Nice. What's the one thing either for Gen Con or in generally that you don't do right now that you're working towards to help promote your film? Again, we'll start with Chuck, and I guess I asked it from the angle
Yeah.
of what do you see filmmakers?
Yeah, so everything that was just said there is spot on. The bringing your crew in with T-shirts is a must, right? Whatever it takes to get your brand in front of somebody. This is kind of marketing 101, right? But on top of that, flyers, posters, postcards. Postcards are a very inexpensive way of doing it, and they're small enough that people will actually take them, right? And probably one of the best things I saw happen was a guy showed up with a crazy film called House Shark. It was about a shark attacking people in a house. So it was insane. And he had full-size marquee type posters made, and he had his cast and crew sign them. So we only had like 4 of these posters. And at the screening, he gave those away. And the crowd loved it. I'm sure there are people that went home and framed those things and put them on the wall, even though nobody will have ever heard of that film. But it's such a crazy film, it's always going to be a conversation piece, right? And that's the kind of thing that when they leave here, people remember that. Even the ones that didn't get the signed poster, they're going to remember that because they were part of that crowd. And it's interacting with the crowd that really helps. Getting to know each other. I always try to put filmmakers in the room together, but I also try to make sure that the general attendees get to meet the filmmakers too. Because yes, you'll like a film that you just sat in a room and watched. You'll love the film that you met the filmmaker. You'll never forget meeting that filmmaker at that event. And that is gold for you because you're not just promoting today's film, you're promoting all your future work and all your catalog.
Yeah. Now, Molly, you said you had two, and are they both shorts or one's a feature?
Both shorts. We
Okay.
haven't done a feature yet because as of right now, with the size of our crew, it's easier for us to do shorts.
Sure.
Because sometimes it's easier, especially depending on the budget and how long do you want to wait to make your next movie, because you do have to wait for the funds to come in versus like, yeah, I got $1,000 and they got a free weekend. Let's see what we can do. So
But I guess what's the difference between how you promoted each of those films, if there was even a difference?
slight difference. Sanctity was actually made for YouTuber Nightmind's Candy Bowl competition around Halloween. He gives a prompt for filmmakers, whether you're professional or amateur, to submit something. And we made the Sanctity for that. And then on Halloween, he streams it on Twitch to all of his followers. So we actually were selected by him, and you can get that real-time feedback and
Perfect.
stuff. And as part of our trailer, we used some of those quips and comments from people as they were commenting on our short in real time. So we've been using that, and that was specifically designed for that. And we kind of were like, well, if he liked it and they liked it, let's see if other film festivals like it, if we have something more. The Dreamer was different because that was a project we did. Michael Malley wrote the script like 15 years ago, but never actually had a crew to make it. And we're like, yeah, we like it, we could do this. Again, another one of those ones like, you got a weekend? Like, we can get this done in a day. It's a little different promoting them because nowadays it's a little more putting the cart before the horse. Like, I'm again, big fan of special features and learning more about the movie after I've seen the movie. I don't like spoilers. I like seeing it and then being like, oh, how'd they do that? That's so cool. nowadays, people want to know how you made it, the whole process, set photos, they want to know the script and stuff, and we're trying to get used to more of that going forward, of starting to post and promote and build an audience ahead of time, because it used to be you make your film, you cut a trailer, people watch the trailer, then they go see your movie. Now they're just like, well, I don't know anything about this. Why would I watch your movie? I don't know who the filmmakers are. I don't know what you did in order to do this. Like, they're not as involved or invested in it. So we've switched how we're doing things, and we're trying to show. I mean, we're not comfortable with it yet. We're definitely still making mistakes with it, but we're trying to switch and show more of ourselves, show more of that behind the scenes process. And we're definitely working more with merch too, like getting that poster ahead of time if there's anything that we can do, like stuffies of Dart, or we were also considering maybe making like little miniatures and like game cards to do that too, depending on if it works for the short. So we've definitely had to make a recent switch on how we've done things, because we made quite a few shorts and now we're like, oh wait, we didn't do all the behind the scenes ahead of time, and now we're like, well, do people even care anymore? Because now we have made it, and it's a little bit too late to go back. So we've definitely had to switch it up.
Gotcha. Like, yeah, for like, maybe a better way to ask the question is like for your next project, what do you want to, now that you've done one, like, how do what do you want to do different on the next one?
We've already started, again, out of our comfort zone, but we started going like, hey, we have this idea, we're working on it now, we're kind of working on like a micro feature. We already built an elevator in our garage for something, so we've built our own set. We control our garage, so it's like our own little mini sound stage. And it's like a horror movie that's going to take place in a cabin. And we're like, logistically speaking, we could rent a cabin, but then what if we need reshoots? What if the weather sucks? What if the sound quality is awful? So we're like, all right, goodbye elevator, we're going to build a cabin in our garage. And then just posting about that. And it's still going to take a while. Like, it's not like I'm going to build a cabin in a weekend in my garage, but slowly building up to that, working on other projects and being like, here's an update on this. So we're definitely like showing more steps along the way, even if it is like, all right, cabin project on hold for now. We have to wait till costs come down before we can do that. We're going to do this now. So just sending out those little blurbs, being authentic about the process along the way, being honest about it as we go.
Nice. Mike?
Yeah, I really like the idea. We've got a film about Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't know why I didn't think about it, but we have these excellent costumes that were made for us. Should have showed up in those. Honestly, should have showed up. And there's a missed
It's hard to carry
opportunity.
this through the airport sometimes.
Well, yeah, there you go, right? That would have been fun.
Just gotta
So-
let it on the plane.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would have been so smart, and it didn't dawn on me to bring that in. And I think about like Obsession, one of the films it's got huge, and it's all been word of mouth. And the costume thing was a great one, because that's just going to be word of mouth, right? You literally have an opportunity there where you have your cards or you have your mini poster with you, and when that conversation is created, they're organically give them, hey, if you got time, come to the. So I really think that's a fantastic idea and a great way of going about being here.
I think twice we've had films that had a creature,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually, two different filmmakers in 2 different years, over at our promotion booth over at the convention center, they actually set up their creature costumes on mannequins and left it in the booth for the whole duration.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
it gets attention. Now, mind you, if everybody did that, we would need a much bigger booth. But if you're the only one doing that, it's cool. And then actually during their screening, they would bring it over and have it propped up outside the door as people are going in. Again, it's all about promotion. And what you said earlier about feature versus a short. The interesting about the shorts is, in this environment, our short blocks are actually much better attended than our features.
Yeah.
And the reason is people don't know anything about the features, so are they going to invest an hour and a half to 2 hours of their time when they could be exploring what's going on at the convention center during that time, versus the short blocks where they don't have to be invested in a single film. They can show up and watch a few films. If they have a schedule, they can show up and they can watch 15, 20 minutes worth of shorts and then go off and do whatever they want to do. But more often than not, they sit there and they get engrossed in the films as they're going on and actually end up spending a full features length time watching shorts. And that's why, and then most places do this, you block the different shorts that are similar to each other in a block so that people, our horror blocks sell out immediately, right? Our sci-fi block is sold out today. And it really, that cross-promotion between those different films is really what gets the room full. And getting the room full is the beginning, because now they've seen your film. Now you got to get them to remember it. So again, you want to be there. I personally think, as people are leaving, standing outside the room, handing the postcard as they already have seen the film, rather than just promoting it in advance. Hey, I'm the one that made that film you just watched. Here's the information about how to get a hold of me and how to see more about it and the other stuff that we do. That is something I don't see people doing, because it's that follow-up.
I did it at mine. Just because there was people in there, and first off, I was very gratified that they came, and I kind of felt like I need to give them something. So I just passed out the flyers, but they were like, yeah, of course, because that's the link to more content.
Yeah, and again, you making that personal connection with them.
Yeah.
One thing to add that we did do that I found really, really helpful, so if you are using Film Freeway, we actually use the marketing package through Film Freeway. It's super cheap.
Okay.
And it's not going to connect you with your audience. It's going to connect you with people like Chuck,
Yeah.
who are creating the film festivals. And so what we got out of that, we got a free entrance into festivals, or we got a rebate on entering. So your submission fees go down. So I think that really was helpful. So yeah, you got a little bit of an extra charge up front, but the takeaway was you got reduced submission fees and so forth. So I think that's a really good way when you're about to get it out there.
And honestly, from the film festival side of it, up until about this year, post-COVID, we were starving for films. This year, we're really back to the pre-COVID numbers. Everything's back up. So people were looking at those things over the last 3 or 4 years a lot closer. When Film Freeway says, hey, here's a bunch of films that might be in your genres that you might want to look at, we were looking at them, and I was clicking those things just to get enough films on the screen during those couple of years. So, yeah.
Teresa, what do you think you might do different?
Yeah, so similar to what Molly was saying, because I deal with more long form, the BTS, the behind the scenes and the process.
Mhm.
It has been, it's like do as I say, not as I do. I had heard, right, that the process, people love seeing the process, but as a certain type of artist that is kind of private about things, and then learned more traditionally this idea of then you have the trailer, then the reveal is later. The world has moved on, and people love seeing the behind the scenes process, right? And this may have been true earlier too, but because of the confluence of social media, the way to expose that and that back and forth with the audience, right, and now with creator culture more broadly, is something that as an artist, I've had to grapple with. So I really appreciate that you have mentioned that. So now what I am thinking about, both with this and then with future projects, this documentary Game On is one about this female video game designer, right? I'm also looking at doing, it's a feature, but I'm looking at doing shorts potentially of other people in the industry for video games. Right now, focused on women, but I may broaden that depending on time and resources, right? And conceptually what the story arc is for this narrative. So because of that, I've been now having to figure out how much more of the behind the scenes am I going to share? How many more photos do I collect, and how do I conceptually organize that? And I have a Substack now, right, called Game On the Movie. I have to figure out, I've kept this branding, but I have to figure out if I'm going to either rebrand it or Game On the Movie becomes the umbrella for like the other, because it's going to be more of a series than for these other mini films. And to have the wherewithal to say, okay, this is part of my process and I want to share it with you. So it's definitely been that relationship between audience, fan, collaborators, and how to move that content or how much of that I want to share is a challenge, yeah. And then the other project that I'm working on is a bit different. It is about, in Alaska, it is about the peony flower. So flowers grow in Alaska in July and August when they don't grow nearly anywhere else in the world. So it's different than the type of gaming pieces that I have, that I've done and that I like to do. But I'm also looking at something called Gaussian splatting. It's I do emerging tech, I see some nods. So it's also another way of telling stories that in addition to a more traditional film like we're watching our films, there's also this interactive portion which maybe you can put on a headset or look at it in more of a 3D realm. So I'm experimenting with that, and so what I'm hoping, to get to your question, right, is that I show some of the tests that we're doing, because we're going back to Alaska in like next week. So, and I have to be brave enough to be like, this might not work, right? This but we tried it, and here's what we're doing. So yeah.
Cool, but it might work.
But it might work. Yeah, it might work.
I have a comment on that, and then I'll open it up to questions. One trick that we did, and this I can't take credit for this, Mesa Kronhaus, who, if you saw our piece, she played the mean podcaster. She also edited 12-Sided Eye Season 2. She's like, first off, don't have your cast and crew sign an NDA. She's like, you're not Marvel, you're not Star Wars, don't sign an NDA. Instead, put a Google Drive link on the call sheet and have your cast and crew take as many pictures, as much video as you want. The only trick is make sure you upload it to the Google Drive. So I basically turned my entire cast and crew into my promotional wing. So I have got so much behind the scene footage, so many pictures. And people want, like when I do podcasts, people ask for that stuff, and I've got a ton of it. So that's what I would also, especially if you have a big cast and crew, and encourage them to post the crap out of it, just because that's what you want. I mean, again, unless you're, making, Avengers Infinity War, that's different. But if you're making, something that you're trying to get traction, no NDAs, just get we want people to talk about it. So that's what we did, and it worked brilliantly. All right, anybody have any questions? Boom. All right. We covered everything.
One of the things you were going on out there is those behind the scenes things. And I really gotta agree with that. I have an example that's not really film related, but it says the same thing. My best friend builds life-size Batmobiles for a living. That's his day job.
Licensed, officially licensed
Yes,
Batmobiles.
he's the only person in the world licensed by DC Comics and Warner Brothers to do this. And he can post online the bright, beautiful, shiny, completed cars all day, and he'll get a few likes. If he shows one under construction, it goes viral. Because nobody's seen that. Now, I've been in his shop a million times, and when you walk in there, there's 5 or 6 Batmobiles under construction, and to me, that's old hat. And to him, that's everything he's ever done. To us, as filmmakers, we've seen behind the scenes stuff to the point where nobody wants to see the craft table.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Right?
not finished
They
yet.
do want to see the craft table.
But everybody does. Everybody wants to see what that behind the scenes stuff is. And that's your extra footage. You can't show the whole thing. You don't want to give away the whole thing. But you've got all that extra that has nothing to do with the actual plot of the film. It's the behind the scenes, the making of, the people behind it. And that really is that extra bit of footage. But on top of that, you need to make sure you get good production stills without the boom in the shot, and without the cameras, right? You need those good production shots for promotional.
Right.
And I see that on Film Freeway quite often. People will post a bunch of stills, and it's all behind the scenes stills. No, if I'm gonna grab one of those stills for promoting your film, I'm gonna grab one that's an action scene from the film. Because I may only be able to grab one shot to put in any kind of a promotion. And if I do, it's gotta represent the movie.
Gotcha. But Mike, you're saying keep Film Freeway accurate and up to date, and
Up-to-date.
kind
Oh,
of,
yeah,
kind of just
Yeah.
make sure that's well maintained.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, you can put things like, well, if you got into Gen Con, put that up there. Because they're looking at, the judges that are gonna decide whether or not your film's in the film festival. They're gonna be looking at that material. So best to have it there. So
And-
spend the time. It doesn't take long.
And be complete about it.
Yeah.
I'll get films submitted, and under the category or the genre, it'll say short, as opposed to drama or horror or comedy.
Or
And when I'm trying to decide what I'm going to program, a lot of times, because after everything's been submitted, I download all that into a spreadsheet, which Film Freeway is great with. It has all those fields, but if you don't fill out those fields, I can't sort it.
I wanted to ask a question to encourage kicking off questions.
Oh, yeah.
Ask about them. One, who's the person that makes the Batmobiles, and can I be their best friend?
I'm his best friend.
Already taken.
But talk to me.
I gotta replace you, that's the goal.
Great.
The second would be.
I gotta hire bodyguards now.
Yeah.
I got you, Chuck, I'm always here.
The promotional purposes, obviously, like a poster is in some ways a requirement, just like you're putting it on IMDb. There's so many places where the poster is the assumed thing. For anything that has had some eyeballs on it or success, have any of you had success with like monetizing that in, after the movie, having a small printed version that's a few bucks, like a way to recoup the cost of designing whatever it is, a poster or some part of it, or is that usually, I'm thinking of like how bands, monetize with CDs and stuff after, but there's a limited number of opportunities for that.
We, as part of our Kickstarter, we're giving away hard copy posters, and the artist is gonna sign them. He's gonna sign them and do a little remark on it. So we're not making any money. I mean, it was just a promotional or a Kickstarter perk to get money, but yeah, that's something that we offered on our Kickstarter. So it's kind of making us money, kind of, but not like numbering them and specifically selling them. Although there's no reason we can't offer that as merch, on our website.
Yeah, likewise. So as part of the Kickstarter reward, I'm giving out, that's not true. The reward for supporters, right, are tote bags. Tote bags with Game On as the logo. And so what I'm hoping to do with this is experiment with merch. So to answer your question, I haven't made money on it yet. As the reward, right, it's cheaper than, let's say if the person pledged $125 or $100 and they get the tote bag, there's a certain cost there already, but we're making it back, right, because I don't receive all of the $125. I mean, I do, but then I'm spending on the tote. But if we're making extras, because the price point for running, let's say like 200 tote bags or 500, the price goes down per bag after a certain quantity, right? So if I'm willing to invest in that and take a risk, which is what I'm planning to do for this, we're going to do a run, we'll have some extras, but the extras will go into the soon-to-be launched or to-be-determined launch of the shop, where I'm hoping that people will want to, with a little bit of markup, like support the film, and also it's kind of a cool title, it's kind of a cool bag, right? And see, but it may not, it may work, it may not. Other types of products we'll have to see. It was also looking at what else might people want, like is it a pouch for their dice? Like, what else could be associated, affiliated with the film that has a gamer sensibility? I mean, I know I could also try customizing the dice, but that's also a different price point. So I'm trying to figure out what can be done that will make money for a little bit, but also promote, right? Or sometimes they're not quite mutually exclusive, but like, if you want to promote, you would have spent money on marketing anyway. So what is the merch side of it and what is the marketing side? So yeah, I'm open to brainstorms and suggestions.
We did dice bags for
Thank you.
for our Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That
leather.
That worked really
and-
well for
yeah.
Crown Royal too.
Oh,
And
really?
Crown, yeah, we're-
Leather and velvet or leather?
Leather and velvet,
Okay.
yeah, the leather ones were a higher value.
Yeah, so I may try and see if that will work for, because it's a similar type of audience and blah, blah,
I
blah.
just got them off of Etsy.
Okay, thank you.
So our revenue didn't come through that. We were lucky enough to be able to apply for certain grants and through education, so we didn't really have that. For me, I always looked at the poster, if you want one here, take it for free, please put it up. So it's like a promotional, important that it gets out there. So it wasn't a direction that we went, so.
We're still working on getting there. We're not there yet, but we're having more conversations around it. We do have a website and we do like feedback from people, but I think we're trying to build our audience more and kind of see what stuff they would like. We're not opposed to making stuff to order if you happen to want like a t-shirt, a bookmark, a mug, but we also want it to be, if we are going to do it, we do want it to be better quality stuff, because there's even times like Marvel for the longest time, X-Men stuff looked like it was just a mug with the X-Men logo that you could have got at like the Prince in 5 minutes type of thing. And I know they had their own thing with Fox and Marvel and whether or not they were making the merch and stuff, but for us, we want to make sure we have the audience to back it before we do commit to like the 1,000 t-shirts or whatever it is that we decide we want to do merch-wise. So right now, revenue is always going to be good, making money is always going to be good, but we want the audience first, so we're really focusing on doing that. So any merch we do make, or like the poster we commission and stuff like that right now is just out of our own pocket and at a loss,
Yeah.
because we'd rather give it away for free, grow the audience, and then be like, all right, everyone does want the coffee mug, we're going all in on that, or postcards, bookmarks, I don't know, quilts, I don't know, whatever people decide is what they want is where we'll eventually go, but we're not quite there yet.
I was
I would
asking
suggest
because I-
Batmobiles.
I mean,
Now, so same guy who does Batmobiles also is the one that got me in film.
Oh, okay, all right.
Uh,
Sorry, yeah, you get a follow-up, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I design movie posters, but there's like a limit at which if the movie, if it's a short film or something, like, it's hard to justify the cost of how much time you're gonna spend or money you're gonna spend on making the poster, and so I
Oh,
always
Your
absolutely.
question was-
Absolutely.
at what level, you know, is it appropriate for me to be like, oh, you should do X, Y, or Z, because I think sometimes I'm like, oh, you can sell this after the thing, but like, if there's not a certain amount of people in the door, then I'm just telling people to do something that they're
Oh,
gonna
I
lose
see
money
what your
on, which I don't
question
wanna do.
is.
Yeah, what I've seen is, particularly for short films, there's not going to be enough market to actually sell that type of merch. But as promotional materials, yes.
Well, 'cause
And
designs
if
are
you
different
have to
for
order a large
eyeballs.
volume in order to get the price down, which is essentially how things have to work, you may end up with a garage full of stuff. And really what you should be doing is promotion, and using it as promotional materials, not selling materials. Now, if you have a feature and it's a feature that seems to get a bit of a following, you can go around to the different conventions around the country. And I've actually been part of that with my friend that does the Batmobile. We had a sci-fi comedy. We took it around to the convention circuit we milked that thing for several years. And we took t-shirts with us and we sold a fair number of t-shirts and DVDs. And it worked pretty well. But did it cover the cost of going to the conventions? Most likely not. So you really got to balance that. It's really, and this was one of our panels earlier, the budgeting. You need a budget for your promotional of your film. And without that, you know that money is earmarked towards being spent, not being kept.
So I think it also depends, your question is also, I think it depends on like what your network is for your clients. Because since you get paid to do the beautiful work you do as a poster designer, and I know that like, there's a range, right? Some people are using both AI tools or other tools to get like a quick and dirty poster, let's say, and other people are willing and able to hire a designer who can create a custom poster. So your work and time is so valuable and valued, but that said, like from hearing what has gone on here, like if, for example, you're a director or producer, they're part of something where they can become part of an auction, or there's something for charity, or they're doing something with a Kickstarter or crowdfunding where you say it's limited and whoever is supporting you wants to support you, and the posters, they're gonna pay for the poster, you could value that at, let's say, $500 or make it a limited quantity, but they're not really buying the poster, like they might be because they know of your work, but they're really trying to support, right, the auteur. That's where I think it could make sense. Or if somebody has such a huge following that you think that you can tell them, okay, you know, for my services, in addition, you can try selling this and do like a limited run. I still think limited is okay if you're not doing them as promotion. If you're trying to sell them, then make it you know, a quantify, like contain it. And then the other way to, I guess, reduce the cost or risk is that, Molly, you were talking about print on demand, right? So if we don't want to hold the inventory, even if the run is 100 or 50, if you wanted to somehow partner with the place that you think does pretty good quality print on demand, then you can control that cost and not hold the inventory.
We have any other questions? Yeah?
Is there any type of promotion that you guys have done at some point that you found didn't really help promote your film that well?
YouTube. It's not that great.
YouTube.
Just throwing it up on YouTube, don't expect to get results. You know, and I've had lots of experience with that. Unless you've got, you know, you've got a viewership already on YouTube, don't expect that your film's going to get that viewership. You have to go about it a different way. So we've abandoned that. We only use YouTube as, okay, we're done with the film, now we post it up there for people to see. But while it's at the festivals, we don't use it at all. It just doesn't work for us.
And in fact, many festivals
You
won't
can't.
accept your film if it
Yeah.
is publicly available
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, that's the case.
The algorithm is not necessarily anyone's friend, and they really do like trends. So even just on social media, you could post one thing that does like really, really well, and then you try to like replicate it, and suddenly no one cares anymore. The algorithm decided, we don't need this anymore, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, or just like Google in general. So trying to always come up with something new and just constantly work at it yourself. You can't just assume that you've put it out there and now it naturally will go viral or people will find it. Like, you always have to pursue your audience, promote your own thing. You can't assume someone else is going to, and unless you're paying someone to specifically market and promote your film, you always have to do it. You have to push your friends to keep talking about it, your family to keep talking about it, talk about it to strangers, get people, again, grow your audience, get people to follow you on Instagram and YouTube to get those notifications. Because even then there's times you could be on Facebook and you know that you're friends with your aunt and your aunt has disappeared off your feed and you're like, oh, I know she posted something, but why are people that I'm following and subscribed to and like regularly talk to not even showing up on my feed anymore, just because you're constantly fighting the algorithm and trying not to be lost, and you always have to fight to be seen.
What I've done that I think has had limited success because I haven't optimized it yet are these types of ads on using Meta on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, where I experimented with promoting during the Kickstarter campaign, because again, for me, that was this push to try to gain more awareness and eyeballs. But I didn't spend like thousands of dollars. It was more in like the tens and hundreds. But the thing that I've done is I've boosted posts, or I've tried to define what the audience is. There are marketers who do this, and then if I had done a deeper dive on it, what I would have done is some advice that was given to me is you do what's called retargeting. And this is, I'm simplifying it to a degree. I mean, not that it's so hard, but I haven't done it in the way that I would have wanted to. So in a way that I think would have been more effective is, instead of me just saying, well, here are the parameters of what I think my audience is, it is saying that or trusting the AI version of what the audience is, letting that campaign run for a while. Is it a week? Is it 5 days? Then at the end of whether it's a Kickstarter or the beginning of like the folks are coming to Gen Con, like for the film festival, there's a way that you say retargeting a like audience. So they're similar. So people have the idea to look at your ad at first, because they're not going to take action mostly the first time they see, especially something new. But if they see it again, or they see it more than once, there is somehow a way that the algorithm is retargeting. So it's taking data from similar types of audience, then the person is seeing it again. I believe that that is when a person may be more incentivized to click through or take whatever action you wish to take. So again, I haven't done it yet. It was what I was like planning to do and then didn't. But I would like to experiment with that. So I think that that was something that didn't work as well for me, but I would like to try to do it again because these tools are at our disposal. So let's try to figure out how to make it, right, how to make that activate.
Cool. Lori, did you have a?
Yeah, in terms of making your film ineligible for film festivals, does uploading any sort of like behind the scenes content disqualify
No,
you?
no,
at all?
it's-
Okay,
It's
then.
just the final product.
Just the
Okay.
final product.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds good.
And it doesn't do it for all film festivals. It doesn't do it for our film festival,
Right.
right? But many of them,
Yeah.
there are different tiers. We're open to anything that has been produced at any time, right? Others want films that literally have been produced within the last 12 months. They don't want to see something you did 2-3 years ago. Others, again, if it's online, particularly if it's not behind a paywall, but even some of them, even if it is behind a paywall, they will not show because it's available outside. Others want a premiere,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they only will do premieres. I love to have premieres. It's hard to pump up a premiere of a short film, but when we get a feature that's a premiere, yeah, I'd love to be able to tell people, yeah, this is the first time anybody in the public has ever seen this.
Sometimes that's localized, say
Yeah.
premiere within Indianapolis,
state.
right?
Yeah, this is the Indianapolis premiere, yeah.
Read the rules, like
Yeah.
go through the rule set, you'll find, I know you're gonna be doing this. So spend the time, don't assume that one festival is like another. You need to read, what are they asking for? And sometimes you read between the lines. They'll give you a good sense of, is this a good fit for your film?
Mhm.
Is this festival a good fit? And sometimes it's revealed in the rules, okay?
And
So don't ignore
read,
that.
read those rules very closely because everybody has their own genres, everybody has their own rules,
Yes.
particulars. And the reason for that is to make sure you don't waste money. Because if your film doesn't fit, but you submit it anyway, it's probably not gonna get accepted. And now you literally just wasted that money that could have been used to print a bunch of posters or whatever, right? Or to target festivals where it will work really well and have the right audience.
Or if you even want to do a film festival, whenever you make a short or a feature, you kind of have to decide as you go how you want to promote it, how you want to distribute it, so you could start doing research for film festivals early. Specifically if it is a genre one as well, because sometimes drama is like, I'm not going to submit a drama to a horror film festival, that's just not going to work.
I've had some beautiful films that have been submitted that are outside of our genre, and I'm like, if I was judging this, it would win an award, but it doesn't fit any of our criteria, so therefore it isn't even gonna show.
And not everything has to go through a film festival either. If you're gonna self-distribute yourself, just put it on YouTube, put it exclusively on your website. Only do a social media campaign, or if you wanna make Blu-rays yourself, or whatever you wanna do, have those conversations early on so you know what the end game
Yeah.
is. That way you know when you are overstepping, I've posted too much, or what route you wanna do. So you always kinda wanna start to do that research and have those conversations early.
And on particularly the Film Freeway site, because that literally is where all film festivals
Yeah.
are pulling their stuff. It used to be Without a Box.
Yeah, yeah.
But with Film Freeway, fill out everything and do it thoughtfully.
Even the cover letter.
Even the cover letter. I was actually getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
Cover letters are very, very important to certain film festivals. I'm gonna make an admission here. I don't read cover letters. At all. And you know why? We judge the films based on the film. The content of the film itself, the quality, the story, the acting, production value, it's all encompassed in what you put on screen. And I don't need to know that you won an award last year at some other festival for another film. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's what your current work is that you're submitting today. Other film festivals, they will read those cover letters and they will look at it and go, oh, you went to X film school. I love people who went to that film school. So therefore, and so write those cover letters. It's very important to those festivals. And every ever they're blank to fill in, make sure they're all filled in with useful information.
We only have time for 18 or 19 more questions. So, anybody have anything else?
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you go about sourcing your creatives that are not part of your film production process? Be it designers, be it, social media influencers, whatever else you may employ in promotion?
I'm thinking, I think I understand the question. We use Internet Movie Database, and it matters to them because that's your calling card. So, for instance, is that, am I,
No, not
not
quite.
that direction? Okay.
Where are you finding the people to produce your posters? The people
Networking.
to do your marketing material?
Yeah,
Yeah, this guy over here does posters.
So-
No, literally, that's how it works.
It is that.
You're in a
Yeah,
room with people and
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
says, hey, I do this.
Yeah.
And you make a note of, hey, I might need a poster.
Yeah.
And that's actually, it's networking. Now, whether it's online networking or in a room networking, it's networking.
It is. And then you'll find that you bring those people back.
Oh, yeah.
Our film group's been together a long time, and we're constantly adding, but it is through that process. It is the networking.
I'll give you an additional answer to plus one. The other panelists here, Chuck, Mike, and Molly. So I can't find her name right now. I didn't end up using her, but like for promotion for Kickstarter, there are consultants, and some of them. There's one person in particular, and again, if you want to come up afterwards, let me look for her name. She was referred by people who were formerly at Kickstarter, because she's done other crowdfunding campaigns. I didn't end up working with her, but she's willing to get on a 15-minute phone call so you can see if you're a match. And she does things from like $500, let's say, like looking at your campaign onward. And I don't think she just does crowdfunding, but like that was one example. Then I'm a member of a couple different film collectives. I love that you're talking about your cohort. One is called The Film Shop. It's a nonprofit of about 400 of us in New Orleans, New York, LA, and internationally. So we sometimes barter work, or when we can pay people within our network, right, it's actors, producers, writers, designers, then we work with each other. And like I'm a member of another nonprofit called Film Fatales, which is an international network of women directors. You have to have directed one feature, and then you're part of this. So I look there, and then, as you mentioned, it can be word of mouth. But the other thing that I have done, though I haven't, with AI tools, trying to also put in like similar works to what I'm doing to see what comes up. But I haven't actually engaged with, I haven't hired someone from what output comes from that. I've used it more for pre-production, not for promotion, but some of the promotional tactics that a search, doing research using AI tools, that has helped me. So it hasn't helped me identify the collaborator, but it has helped me think about, oh, is this where I'm gonna source some merchandise? That type of thing. But definitely, and I'm so appreciative of coming here, because I do think that there are people that I hope to collaborate with in the future, and I think that that's really, really important.
A lot of good poster designers are basically required to use Instagram. And if you search for like a movie poster similar to that, With that, like sometimes you can get to their website and then find the history of their work, which I think is good rather than.
The other thing is, if you spot a filmmaker that has some stuff that looks really good and you'd like something like that for your project,
Ask them.
reach out to them.
Yep. I only ask,
It's networking again, right?
right, I only ask because I've been involved in this process myself in a different medium. I do primarily audio content.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of going into your own there, and I love hearing other people's processes about that in how they network to find those people.
Yeah.
That's really.
And to be honest, in the independent film world, to go in at your own
Yeah.
is also very
I
prevalent.
feel it.
That's why networking events and things like this are important, because you never know when you're going to need someone too. So you can be like, oh, like, I happen to have met a sound editor at one event and now we need someone, or someone else asked me about one, or socials, like that's how, Instagram is how we found the one that did the poster for the Sanctity and stuff. Sometimes people reach out to you, sometimes it's because you like their content and you're like, hey, so how much do you charge to do this? And sometimes it's friends and other colleagues and stuff. Like an actor we worked with, Michael Eiler, he's also a photographer. So we then were like, hey, can you do our headshots and stuff? We want to make it look more professional and stuff. So he does act and do other things. We used him for that. But then we're like, but we do know that you also do this. So it's just keeping people in your back pocket, knowing everything that they do. And always staying in contact with them too. I know sometimes communication could go by the wayside and you stop talking to them, but our director's actually really good at keeping contact with everyone, just being like, hey, how are you doing? Doing anything new? Actors that we've worked with on short films, sometimes we can be like, oh, you have a theater like gig, or you do stand-up comedy, you have a show, I have a free afternoon, like I'll go support you doing yours. It's always about bringing it back and supporting. And same thing again, with the Instagram guy that did our poster, we still like and repost like their work and stuff too, because it's all about reciprocating. And even if you just have the one transaction, you're still trying to help each other and grow and keep those connections and the constant support.
Yeah, I think the first thing to do is when you find somebody is, what can I do for you as opposed to what you can do for me?
Whether you're paying them or not.
I hate to jump in here, but we got to turn the room over for the How to Make a Batmobile panel. So, thank you very much, everybody, for coming. And our filmmakers will be up here. If you want to ask them some further questions, you're more than welcome to that. But I think we have another panel coming in here soon. So,
Just a
yeah,
half
we have
an
30
hour.
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
All right.